Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. I am back finally after the move from hell. And I would like to give a good analogy. It was like George Romero's The Move. You know, like he did at the amusement park, where it took a nice, fun, normal thing and made it like into a nightmarish hellscape. That was kind of like what this move was. I'll go into detail on another episode about all the trials and tribulations about it, because we don't want to bore our two guests today, of course, which is our good friend Steve Cohn and Ken Cook. Of course, we all went to the New Jersey HorrorCon, and we've been promising you this recap because we figured we have to do it soon because we're all getting up there in age, and probably by next week we won't remember any of it.
Yeah, I'm already focused on next year.
Yeah, I know. We're already looking for next year's guest, but we do have. We'll let Tim talk about this exciting new announcement, which, if you have a sharp eye, you probably noticed already.
Yes, so we have updated our logo. We finally did it after threatening it for a while, and the reason behind it is kind of multiple reasons. But the first reason is when we created the podcast, I literally slapped that logo together, like from clip art and just Photoshop, and threw it together because we didn't know the podcast was going anywhere. Like we've said before, we thought our friends and family might listen to a few episodes, and then that would be the end of it. We had no clue that it'd be going on 6 years later. So it was high time in my mind to refresh it. And the other reason too is just, when we first created it, it was the whole Civil War theme with North versus South. And that was long before the Confederate flag controversies that happened, and where things like that started getting problematic. And even though I was very careful, we don't have Confederate flags on the logo. If you look closely, there's nothing like that. We have guns, crossed guns on there, and that's not something I wanted to, our logo to represent. So all of those were just kind of simple design choices that were slapped together. They were never really meant to be symbolic of anything. So we decided to just update the logo, make it current, and kind of remove anything that might, not that we've ever had anything be misconstrued as problematic. We really haven't.
I think we had the one joke by Naomi Grossman made a joke once.
Joke, and most people really like the logo. But for me, if I don't feel comfortable with it, I don't. It just doesn't sit well. So I really like the new logo. I think it's cleaner. I think it's more simple to look at, and that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping you guys like it, and give us some feedback on it. If you would, and let us know.
I mean, it still represents the podcast even better at some level. It's got the microphone there and now. It doesn't have the little hats and the cross guns, which really were not horror at all. So
right, yeah. So I think it's a better design choice. I think it's cleaner, it's simpler, and hopefully you guys agree.
Of course, this means and by the way, we will update our Civil Gore store with that. We'll keep the old logo in there as like a classic, couple more week or two, so you have your last chance to get the OG logo if you want. And but then, Cody, you will have to update your shower curtain that you have Cody. There. You'll have to get the new Civil Gore logo. Maybe if you have a guest bathroom that has a shower, you can put one in one and one in the other. So,
and the old logo will not go up in value. So
no,
sorry to say, but
we'll probably plummet. In fact, but yeah.
But anyway, we're here to talk about our long-awaited New Jersey HorrorCon recap episode, which, because of the move, we just never got to it, even though we had some content in there. We had interviews. We had, I think we had one regular episode between then and now. But,
well, honestly, to get all four of us together is trouble, because Ken was traveling, and then I was moving, and then you traveled, and Cone just sat there. But all of us, to get all four of us together was a bit of a challenge as well. So, but now we have us all here. Ken is back, and Cone's got a brand new computer, so he hopefully won't cut out like he used to in the old days. But so I think we got it. So anyway, I didn't even give you guys a chance to say hello to everybody. So so they believe you're here.
Well,
you're here. Go ahead, Ken.
I don't want to sound too much like Tim when I say this, but hello, everybody.
Yes. No, Tim still has the dulcet tones.
I wouldn't try to match them.
Yeah, his are still. He's still got the what's it? The trademark on it. No one can take that away from him. But I guess I don't know if we're going to go through any kind of order. We're just going to talk about all the different things that that New Jersey HorrorCon is, and I have to say it's we've said this before. It's a very unique kind of con because I think part of its charm is its location, being at the not only just Atlantic City, but it's the Showboat Hotel, which literally changes every time you go there. There's something else there, and they're trying to of course now they're doing that big water park thing. If you're following the news. But there's still like these just oddities that only the Showboat delivers, which we'll get into some of them throughout the course of the thing. But I think we should probably start with Conan and I pretty much had pretty easy travels to get there. But Tim and Ken had a long drive, especially Tim. Tim drove to Ken and they drove together and they had a couple little adventures on the way. So I'll let them discuss that before we even get into the con.
Yeah, well, this is the first time I've driven to the con because I've flown twice in the past. The first flight was fine. The second flight was a complete and utter nightmare, and maybe never want to fly again.
Circled for 2 hours.
So I was not keen on flying up there this time, but it worked out really well. So I drove to Ken's house, which is about like 5 and a half hours, I think. And
yeah,
then,
that sounds about right.
And then Ken, and because my car is kind of sketchy in terms of long trips, driving to Ken's was about as comfortable as far as I was comfortable taking it. He was kind enough to drive us the rest of the way, that was what, like 3 hours?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. So it was kind of nice because it split the trip up, and I had a road trip companion for the second half of the trip, and but we did have one negative experience when we stopped at some rest area. That was some big rest stop with restaurants and stuff in it. We went in there and like everything was closed except this random Wendy's, and we couldn't figure out why. And there was this huge long line, and we sat there. God, how long did we sit there, Ken? Like,
well, let me correct you first off. It was ostensibly open. It wasn't actually open.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people gathered in front of Wendy's, and they were taking people's money. But the bottom line is the entire dang rest stop had a power loss. And Wendy's was just continuing on taking people's cash and delivering absolutely nothing in return. And everybody else had shut down. They'd left the restaurants. There were no people behind the counter. And Wendy's just kept on taking cash, piling up angry customers.
It was like one of those Diner Dash games or whatever.
Just in reverse.
Is that where the customers are getting angrier and angrier, and you see the red smiley faces above their head? That was me and Ken. And like, there's like people like, then they had the digital order thing, like the kiosk thing up there. People were going up there and trying to order from it, and they were continuing to take orders even though they couldn't actually deliver anything. It was incredible. But
we spent a good half hour of wasted time standing around a stupid rest stop in the middle of nowhere. That we mentioned later to Brian, and Brian was like, "Oh, that's a great rest stop. I stopped there."
It was. Anyone that knows the New Jersey Turnpike there, or Garden State, that's the Maryland House, which is a big, known, really well done rest stop until that day, apparently.
Well, there was 2 middle fingers up rating on Yelp for that one. I was with to them because I was pretty angry. That it was just, it's your classic post-COVID service of nobody's in charge. They don't have managers that manage anymore. God bless, I understand we live in different times, but you shouldn't be taking people's money if you're going to deliver absolutely nothing, and you know it. So it was pretty annoying to me.
What did they expect, that people would forget that they ordered and paid and just walked out? I think
they thought they certainly had us by the short hairs, if you will. We had nowhere else to go. So I think they thought, oh, they're going to wait around. And most people did. But Tim and I it wasn't Red Tim. It was more Red Ken that finally said, let's get the hell out of here and find something else.
I had already eaten, so I was okay.
That's it. You actually didn't care.
I didn't care either way.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we ended up stopping anywhere else.
We stopped at Burger King.
Did we?
Yeah, we stopped at a random Burger King.
That was an adventure actually by itself. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Was it in Delaware?
I don't know where it was.
It was the worst neighborhood. And we were making all kinds
of...
Oh,
no, I thought you said it was Camden, New Jersey you stopped in or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We were in Delaware. because
Oh, you were? Okay.
it might have, I don't know if it was Wilmington per se, but it was definitely Delaware. And
Tim's like, this is not my Wilmington.
No, not my Wilmington.
definitely not. I know we're making some jokes about the president being from there just because he is, not because we have beef with the president. But yeah, it was rough. It was pretty scary. But we got our Burger King's worth. Boy, that was definitely the cheapest.
We drove through some sketchy neighborhood.
We had to earn it, but we got.
It was it looked like a war zone down in where we were driving. I don't know where that place was, but
it was tough. It was a tough, gritty neighborhood.
Mm. Yeah,
but we made it.
Yeah, you guys made it. I think, and then yeah, when I got there at first, we actually got this time. At least we got the good towers this time, which is good. Because Showboat's got 2 towers, and actually, if you look now on their website, they're renovating. I don't know if it's the one we were in, but they're renovating it all. Like the rooms have been like totally cleared out, and they're recarpeting everything. I think they're really realizing now that with this water park, we're gonna get a lot of families, and they're not gonna take the crappy Showboat rooms. I mean, the only drawback to our room, I guess, this time was that Cone had to shower in your room that time because of the clog in our, which I didn't notice at first before I got in, and I barely got the shower through without it plotzing out there. But
your room was kind of not perfect, but Tim and I got a free upgrade. I don't know if we even told you.
Oh, that was an upgrade. What you got?
Yeah, we got the free adult background noises.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, how could I forget that?
The second night,
chicka wow wow.
it came with the show.
Yes. The second night we were able to hear somebody having a really good time next door. Much better than Tim and I were having, for sure.
Well, after seeing Clint Howard and his wife, they still have the passion. Maybe it was them. I don't know.
It could have been. It was passionate for sure.
We'll get to them because
If
they
it
put
was
on
them, then hats off to Clint. He was.
Yeah,
he was doing God's work.
Somebody was doing a good job.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think this time though, so this was also, we should preface that this is the first time they opened up the brand new event space. It used to be kind of right in the casino floor, which is no longer an old casino floor, but it was like a con floor, and then it's no longer a con floor now, and it's a go-kart track essentially. So yeah, this is a very odd hotel. It's quite it's very. It has to be seen to be believed. Some of the stuff. I think one of my favorite things I noticed right away was the bootleg Zoltar machine from Big. Remember, it was Zoltan, and it was like this scraggly, looking I guess gypsy character or something. But yeah, when we got there, it was funny. At first, while I was waiting for Cone, first person I saw was our good friend Abby, who is a con regular and definitely it's kind of almost a celebrity there in her own right. So that was kind of cool getting to catch up with her for a little while. And it was funny. I in typical New Jersey HorrorCon fashion, while I was waiting for everybody, about I think half the guests had walked by at one point. I think Michael Berryman walked by me 4 times, back and forth, getting coffee or whatever. But so I guess we should kind of get into what we did. Just the first thing is we went in. I think when we got everyone together, we all went in there, and there was I think Ken and I went right to the table that we knew we had to go visit, and that was the Pickle Monster.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been looking forward to that one for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, they do good work. If you like pickles, and this is not figuratively speaking, this is literal.
Yeah.
They do great work. What they did this year, however, they've expanded their selection. Was they had spicy peppers as well. And I bought, for the record, they told me, which may have been just a great sales gimmick, the first jar they ever sold. So I was pretty proud of that. That thing was gone literally within 2 days of my return home. Was tremendous. They do.
Yeah. Ken and the next 25 people were the first to ever buy that pepper.
Yeah.
And 150 before me.
I think it's great. Literally 5 minutes into the con, and Ken and I are walking around with a giant pickle in our hand and chomping on that
pickle
corner.
On a stick.
Again.
Yeah, pickle
Literally.
on a stick. That's right. Yes, it was a literal pickle.
Not
Pickle
that-
with purchase.
Yeah, and then I still have not yet. The one thing I've been saving is because I haven't had a proper sandwich that I felt deserving of. It's that hoagie sauce. I have not tried that yet. That they sold this
I've
year.
already gone through my hot sauce and my pickles. The hot sauce was going real quick.
Yeah.
And I will say, as much as we brag on Pickle Monster, I've tried multiple spicy pickle brands. When I got back last year, could not find anything comparable.
Well, I had never bought habanero pickles before, just because I never thought to. and I bought theirs. And then when I got back here to Virginia, I literally went on a hunt for something comparable, and I could not find it.
No,
Yeah.
it
Farmers
doesn't
market
exist. And have
just
you
doesn't.
tried the other like the other little accoutrements that are sitting in that brine in there, like the little like peppers and the little
Right, the
pimentos
garlic
and stuff?
all the good stuff. Yeah.
I threw that on my sandwich, and that alone was its own like special like spice. I mean, it was so good. They are true artisans of the of the pickle world. I mean,
They do sell online, and
Yeah.
if you're willing to pay the shipping, which I'm at to the point that
Yeah.
I probably am willing to just pay the shipping. You can get their stuff online.
I mean, yeah, it's either pay some shipping or wait like a year for your
Exactly. Yeah.
Pickles again.
It's
Well-
worth it though, because I literally can't find them. I
Yeah.
cleaned out my entire farmer's market with like 3 or 4 different
Yeah.
types, and I couldn't find
Perhaps we can find them at another con close by. But yeah, for the record,
Maybe.
I don't think any of you are getting paid for a commercial right now.
Yeah, no. You know what's good is too is like you know, sometimes you get like a
We're
like a
prepping them for
spicy.
next year.
Yeah, right. The thing is, you know, sometimes you get a hot sauce or a spicy pickle or something like that, and there's either like one or the other. It's like either like a really good pickle and not too spicy, or super spicy but the pickle's not good. They managed to get everything right. Like the pickle's got a good flavor, and the spice is right, and it's just really good. And yeah, and those peppers were good. Like Ken said, they had banana peppers that were like as thick as you can imagine. I mean, they were a powerhouse, and it was really, really good. So
I appreciate Brian making this come to light here, but actually, Conan and I are starting our own podcast called "The Spice Is Right." It's a
there you go.
trivia show we're going to put on. You know, more to
I
be.
don't know
announced.
how y'all are gonna have time for all these podcasts.
I know you already got 2. You were already
We're
working on.
We're overachievers.
And let's not forget this pickle.
Well, yeah. Is the what is your logo going to be like? Is it going to be you and Ken like eating each end of a pickle, like you know?
We're
Like,
going to take
Lady
a
of the
page out of your book and have
Yeah,
just
like Lady of
two large crossed pickles.
Yeah.
One half
I'm not
sour.
going there.
and One
yeah,
whole sour.
yeah. We're going to leave that one alone.
Teeing it up for you here, Tim. I'm teeing it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Y'all can
that's-
cross your pickles somewhere else. We're moving right along.
yeah. So, well, I guess we should go. Should we go through the guests of the con? I'm sure that's what everyone wants to hear right now.
Yeah, let's
Right.
go through the guests.
Not more about briny crossed pickles.
Yeah.
I'm going to preface this by saying, no, we did not meet every guest. And
Yes.
you're going to go, why did you go to a con for 3 days and you didn't meet every guest? To me personally, sometimes it's like I just feel weird sometimes, and I know I shouldn't. Sometimes I feel weird like meeting guests that I don't have any interest in buying an autograph or
Yeah.
buying a picture or anything. Like I really just don't have any connection there. That I'm typically not one to just go meet somebody just for the sake of meeting them. I want to have a reason to go meet them. I don't know how you feel, Brian. That's kind of I wanted to seek out the people that I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
versus just
And
randomly.
and you kind of see them throughout the course, so you can almost kind of like casually meet them anyway. And I'd rather take that example. And the last time we did that, where we just met someone online, it was when you got Biff blocked. So, you know, maybe that's a sign that we shouldn't have done that. But I guess we'll go through the order, like the guest order there, because we skipped. We didn't really get to meet Nancy Loomis. We just
we
kind of
saw
like
her.
saw her and interacted with her like through passing. But first guest on the list that we did meet here, and this is in no order of the order that we met them, but we got to talk to Joel Murray, of course, Bill Murray's brother, and was in that Holiday Hell movie we had just seen. So that was kind of fun getting to talk to him about that.
He was really nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked him. He was very cool. He was kind of funny because he really liked his segment that he was in, but I don't think he cared for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he did like, and we did. And in fairness, we told him, and if you go back to the episode, you know, we said the 2 best segments were the wraparound and his segment. So
Yeah, which
So we did not lie to him when we said that. We were not just trying to gas up his head or anything. It's just it was truly that was what it was. So I think he was kind of touched that we actually talked about that movie for him.
yeah, I think he
You
was
know,
kind
we
of
didn't bring up
surprised.
Bill at all. So you
Yeah.
know,
Next one up was, I guess we'll just alternate these, Brian.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Steven can feel free to chime in though. I think you guys were not as much talking to the guests as we were, but
We were
They were
holding
just
back
your
the
handlers.
throng from
Yeah,
flogging it too.
exactly. Yeah, we had bodyguards. The next one up was Linnea Quigley. We've met her in past cons, so
Yeah.
I don't think we met her this time or didn't say anything to her. Same thing. I'm just going to skip ahead, Brian. I'll let you do.
Yeah.
names. Eileen Dietz again. We didn't really go up to. Saw her from afar. That's kind of a weird guess. I mean, all she did was to be like the demon face in The Exorcist, right?
Yeah, and she's been in other stuff, but very bit roles, and yeah, like I didn't know what to say to her, so it's like I didn't want to just waste her time, kind of thing, like I felt bad.
Yeah.
But I guess the next one was Caroline Williams, which we had discussed, where we kind of had we witnessed that weird interaction on Instagram. On Twitter. So we were like, we're going to give her a chance anyway, because you know what? Everyone could have a weird day and everyone could have a weird thing. And she was exactly as I expected. Nice, super friendly.
Yeah, I'm glad we
really fun.
We did that. Yeah, because she turned out to be really nice.
Yeah, she was actually funny too. She was like a ball full of energy though, because I guess there was something with the wallet where she was trying to give us change, and like her helper was like not getting it, and she kept like, she was kind of very silly.
Yeah, she was definitely very silly and goofy. So she was pretty cool.
But she posed. We got a selfie with her, which you can see on Instagram, and we chat with her for a little bit. Super, super friendly. She was like, like that, like she's someone that could have been like, she's big enough in the horror world there that she could have been like a little bit kind of standoffish, but she was not at all. She was super, super friendly.
Yeah, and we got a couple here that I don't think we've met any of these people. Tom O'Connell.
Wasn't that who Brendan Fraser played in The Mummy?
Tom O'Connell. Well, he was the one from that was in Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, I think he was like a stunt guy or something.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
He seemed like a pretty cool dude. I saw him interacting with some other people, and he seemed to be very, kind and happy to be there and interactive. So for what it's worth, I didn't talk to him. Again, I'm not getting paid, but he seemed like a nice person as far as people present goes.
Yeah, and it's easy not to, believe it or not, it's hard to literally see everybody at these cons because, you're trying to do other things. You're trying to have a good time. You're trying to, you don't want to just sit there, be all regimented style, even if I make like some crazy spreadsheet, but that's the regimented I go. Once we get to the con, I just like to have that information, but we like
it all falls apart as always.
As always. But I think I think this one, like we've said this a couple of times, that we think this con, which we were going in a little at first, we're a little disappointed with the guest list, but it kind of picked up towards the end. But we ended up saying that it actually ended up being even better than the first time all four of us did it.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's just a testament to being more familiar with it, and being able to just kind of relax and hang out this time versus the first time, where it's been the first time we were all getting together, so there's a lot of more coordination and stuff. I think next time will probably be even better because
next time they'll be seeking us out. They'll be coming
exactly. We had John Dugan, who was Grandpa in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think I ever said.
Which honestly, he walked by us like 30 times before I realized who he was.
Yeah, I didn't recognize.
He was shorter than I thought. That's why I think
I'm starting to forget these names. Paul Wiley.
He was the one that did the I think he was the music for Terrifier.
Yeah, he was the Terrifier. We didn't meet him. Y'all are gonna be like, oh my god.
He wasn't at his table a lot from what I remember either.
Richard John Walters, who was that?
I think wasn't he the one that was from My Bloody Valentine, like the remake? I think he was the Harry Warden.
Yeah. So some of these we weren't like super keen on meeting. Jameson Newlander.
I forgot.
Brian the next one.
That was Lost Boys.
Yes,
Lost
that was
Boys.
it. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, we didn't mean. Okay, Brian gets to tell the story of the next one.
Yeah. This one is this is going to be going down to the Civil War.
This almost beats Biff getting Biff blocked.
Yeah, this was so weird. So I was a big fan of Judy Aronson, so I was definitely excited to meet her. And so we show up at her table, and she was at one point she had like a little bit of a line, and it cleared out. So I got up there, and I said, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And she's super friendly. She's like, "Hi, I'm Judy." Nice, and I was like saying how I always wanted to meet her at all the cons, and she finally was here, and I got to meet her. And so I look at her sign, and remember I did my research, so I knew it like a selfie was this, a photo was this. So I went up, I said, "Hey, can I get a selfie?" And she kind of looked at her handler, and they both said, well, they need to change that. And I'm like, "Oh, is it more money or something?" And she goes, "No, I'm not doing selfies now. She goes, if you buy something, I'll do it. Ever since COVID, I stopped doing the selfies but she goes, but if you buy something, I'll throw one in, I'll do one with you." So, I mean, that I think in all honesty, we misinterpreted that statement. I think that's when she just stopped doing selfies for a while is what she probably meant. But anyway, it became a running joke because every time we went over to her table, she was literally taking a photo with somebody. So I started to get like this fake complex. It was kind of a running joke. I don't know if these people bought something or if she knew them in advance, but like it literally, like she couldn't have been closer to everybody else other than me. So I don't know what it was. I didn't think I smelled that day. I mean, I know I showered. Maybe it was the old logo of Civil War that turned her off. We don't know, but
we don't know.
But it's been a running joke ever since. I even told Abby after the fact that she was cracking up because it was funny because she was still like nice. She even like on one of the comments I posted afterwards about the con. So it was definitely more of a fanciful tale that we constructed, but it was kind of funny how literally every time we looked over there, she was taking a photo with someone else.
That was pretty good. The next up is Michael Paré from Streets of Fire, which I am so bummed I did not have the record soundtrack to get him.
I had it. I should have just gave it to you and we could have swapped. Later on, because you have the soundtrack now.
I ended up finding the Streets of Fire soundtrack after I came back for $8. I was so excited, and it's a great soundtrack. I listened to it the other day, and I'm like, this is a good record. Like, it's legitimately a good record.
One of the best soundtracks I own ever.
Yeah. And he was super nice, and I think he was super cool. I think he was really happy that I had seen. I told him how much I enjoyed the movie and stuff.
Yeah, and I talked to him about Eddie and the Cruisers, how my whole family was like obsessed by it. And he was like the perfect con guest. Like he was just there. He like reveled in all the people talking about him. He was super friendly all the time and like just an awesome dude.
Yeah. Felissa Rose goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean,
she's super. She was super cool. I think she remembered us from.
Oh yeah, no, she totally did because we went up. She gave us a big hug and took pictures. Like we got to get some selfies. She was taking them herself, and so she's always a true delight.
I know you guys have talked about her probably a million times, and she's been on your show, which I totally forgot while we were there when we were talking about it. But I have to say, just because she's such an impressive human being, I'd met her once before this and went to see her again. And again, she probably had absolutely no idea who I was and never remember meeting me before. And I understand, she's got thousands and thousands of fans, but she treats people like they are her oldest friend, even if she's never met you before. And it's just so incredibly refreshing to see that both in the industry in general, but just, in the world these days to have people like that out there is just refreshing. So I believe it or not, saw somebody online saying, oh, how is she? When somebody mentioned her in a tweet. And I almost can't believe that people don't know because she is just so amazing. And anybody who's ever met her says that. So if whoever you are that's listening, have a chance to meet her, do not be shy. Don't think twice about it. If you don't know who she is, meet her anyway. She's a fantastic human being and you will not regret it.
Yeah, I teased her when I saw her. I said, "Oh, look, it's the belle of the ball," and she laughed. But also, she truly is. I mean, she is.
Also terrible at business because she will give you the hugs and the photos for free 90% of the time.
Yeah,
she's just so nice. That's a joke. I'm sure she's not terrible at business. She's been around.
No, she's actually she's a producer. So she's actually really good.
She's very generous, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and she hosted when we found that she was hosting Karaoke. We were like, okay, that was awesome. That just sells it. I mean, karaoke is fun and those own, which we'll get to, but with her as a host, we knew it was going to be wild. All right, Tim, you could take this next one. This was definitely, we kind of knew that there was going to be someone that holds court through this thing, and he didn't hold court till the final night. Cone, you had went home, but we saw him hold court. But
yes,
but besides that, he was still one of my favorite people we met there, though, by far.
Yeah, this was Richard Tyson, and he was, wow. I don't know what to say about this guy. He was, he basically, we asked him about a movie he was in. He couldn't even remember being in the movie.
And we know for a fact he was in it.
Yeah.
He was in the movie. So he was, I'm going to say he was a little out of it, but he was a super cool guy. He was super nice. We took a great picture with him with like brass knuckles that me and Brian didn't actually know how to put on.
We had them the wrong way.
We've never used brass knuckles before, obviously.
But and that was from 3 o'clock. I remember I made him laugh. I said, boy, I would have never had a Jerry, oh my God, I forgot his name, the character's name. What's his name? Jerry. What did Casey Simasco play in that cone? What's it? Jerry Mitchell. I was like, I never would have had a Jerry Mitchell rally in this one, and he chuckled about it. He was cool. He posed with us, and he was like, he's one of those guys that'll he was like, yeah, he might not remember that particular movie, and from what other people have told us, they'd like to forget that movie, but either way, but which we won't name, but won't name the movie that is, but but overall it was still a fun guest because of just his interactions with us, and he posed, with he's got a lot of cool 3 o'clock high things, and I told him how much I loved that movie, and he, and that was definitely one of his signature ones. He was there for that in Kindergarten Cop. I think he was really pushing. So
yeah, he was an interesting character, but very entertaining meet and greet there.
Yeah, Miko Hughes we met last time, so we kind of just did not like we skipped him, but we kind of
Well, hold
Wasn't
on.
there the elevator incident?
I was going to say there's a very significant story here.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's right.
I forgot the elevator incident.
Yes.
Let me provide some background.
Oh, yeah,
Let me
kids have to tell this story.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
To be fair, you have to understand my relationship with Miko Hughes as a child. This kid scarred the hell out of me when he was a kid. And I think he's younger than I am, frankly. But bottom line is, he scared the hell out of me in all the movies he was in, including Kindergarten Cop, without a doubt. But
even Cops and Robertsons?
He was, for those who don't know, he was Gage in Pet Sematary, which by itself, makes him nightmare fuel for me, especially when I saw this movie. I was still relatively young, I guess. I was probably pre-high school. I don't know, high schoolish. But he scared the crap out of me. And so, I mean, this wasn't intentional, but I guess we were going back up to our rooms, coming down. I think we're going up.
We were going up.
Miko Hughes, did he walk up to our elevator and I shut it in his face? How did that go?
You hit door close. You hit door close on him.
Yeah, the door was closing, and instead of hitting the open button, you just mashed the close to make sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was instinctual. I mean, that was a reflex. It was, Gage was coming to slice my Achilles tendon. I was not going to keep that door open.
Yeah, that was funny. It's like it basically like wiped out all the friendly interactions that Tim and I had with the. But I'm telling you, when you're in that tower at this horror con, that you were going to have an elevator story, hands down. Oh, didn't we go ride the elevator with that weird cosplayer that was like in a bear suit?
Yeah, there was this cosplayer that was in it was sort of Five Nights.
Five Nights, yeah. And there was music playing, and Brian couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
Oh, it was the elevator. The elevator music.
Yeah, she had music coming. He, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, we couldn't figure. Yeah, it was like a very androgynous costume.
Right? How are we gonna know?
Yeah.
But it was that was another funny elevator incident. But I'll never forget the time Ken slammed the door on Gage's face.
Yes. So so Ken better now has a lifetime to watch his Achilles tendon, because Miko Hughes is going to come after him at some point.
I don't regret it.
Robert Mukes, we didn't get to meet, but that dude is huge.
He is,
oh my God, that guy's a tall guy. Oh
yeah, I was actually a little frightened of him. He was so tall.
He was a little intimidating, yeah.
Yeah.
Christina, this is the pair that we almost went up to a couple times, and for some reason we just never did, and that was Christina Lees and Alex.
It's like the timing is bad. Every time we go to finally go up to them, they're on their break.
Yeah, it's like the Child's Play meetup is just never going to happen.
They're consistently busy though too.
Yeah.
Their booth was active all weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you remember the funniest thing that what she said when Richard Tyson was holding court, when we were getting the drinks at the bar on that final night after dinner, we were just kind of hanging out, and it was like Richard Tyson was there. I think Alex Vincent and Christina Lees were there, and someone else was there. It might have been John Dugan. And we were sitting there, and Christina Lees, I guess whatever drink she was having before wasn't good enough, and she went up to that bartender. She goes, "I will give you $100 if you just give me a good glass of wine." And I was just cracking up. She kind of looked at us and gave us like a fun, like an expression, because we were staring at her, like watching this whole interaction. But it was kind of funny. But that's where, remember Richard Tyson was kind of everyone was sitting, but he was kind of standing and holding court. So I don't know what he said, but we weren't at the cool table there. We were just at the. At the bar, it was like the last bar ready to open. It's like they were so short staffed. It was only one bar at a time would be open.
Yeah,
kind of funny.
I think this bartender might have been the last. He acted like the last bartender on earth. He just I don't know where I think they just pulled some random dude off the street and said, "Hey, can you make whiskey sours?" Approximately.
Yeah, I think the job description at Showboat for that is you need to have bartending skills, know how to fix an arcade game, and possibly sweep. I think that's like
So many of those games are broken. Same with the pinballs, neglected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
With a basketball game, every time you
bar-
throw the basketball, we get stuck on the thing every time.
the bar reminded me of something that Emily said just recently to us when she said she used to work at a this and that bar. I'd never heard that before, but it's a vodka and tonic, rum and coke. There's only
Oh, interesting.
these guys should have been at this and that bars. They were not
Yeah,
very good any more than this
exactly.
or that.
Let's see. Moving right along, we have Tom McLaughlin, which I kind of regret not meeting him.
I know. We did see him
Friday
eat dinner, though.
Yeah, we did. Friday 6 was one of my favorites, so I probably should have gone at the end. I didn't.
Yeah.
Tim Jacobus, who does the Goosebumps artistry.
Now, he is a good businessman because he milked him out of $1,000.
He milked me out of $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had bought a, texting back and forth. I'm asking the kids what Goosebumps art prints they want signed or whatever, and so I had sent them pictures of the whole table, and they told me one picture by saying like upper right or something, and so I assumed that's the one they wanted, so I bought it, and ended up telling them I bought it. Come to find out it was a different one they wanted, so I went back. Brian was of the idea that Tim Jacobus was going to be such a nice guy, he was just going to understand the mistake and give me a different one for free. But no, Tim Jacobus said, well, I'll gladly take your another $20 from you, good sir, which I can't blame him. I mean, guys got to make a living. So
he did personalize each of them. So.
Yeah,
he did personalize each of them. So, and he doesn't know that I'm going to turn around and sell them on eBay. So
yeah. I mean, I would have just held it off to the side. Oh, did it? Well, did it actually say to Josh and Ann or something? Did it say
signed, not personalized?
Yeah, so he could have just easily just had an easier sale the next time. Said, "Oh, I have one here pre-signed already. Take it." But
I wasn't too bent out of shape of it. I just thought it was a funny story. So
yeah. Nicholas Melee, I feel like he was like in such a weird spot. We walked by him 1,000 times and didn't even realize he was there.
Who is that?
He was the guy. He was the father in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5.
Okay. Billy Redden, poor guy, they had put him in. So I got to explain how this thing was set up. So most of the guests were in this long hallway. And then the show floor proper with all the vendors and stuff was in this big room area, new area, which actually worked out really well. Like I liked the vendor section. I liked it a lot more than when it used to be on the casino floor.
A lot of space.
It was like a truck loading bay, though.
Yeah. But the guest thing I could see, like, if you had a lot of popular guests, could be a problem. Because if that got crowded. Now, in this case, the con wasn't very crowded, so it worked fine. Having the guests in the hallway wasn't a problem at all. But I could see that if you had more popular guests, I'm not sure how well that would have worked. But anyway, but poor Billy Redden, they put him, like, completely away from everybody else. I don't know if there was a good reason for that or what.
Maybe they had no one like banjo playing. I don't know.
I don't know. But they had this dude off, like, not even... they had Clint Howard in the main area, but I think that was because they knew he was going to be like the most popular guest.
And he was. There was a lot around him.
Yeah, so I think that's why they put him in that bigger area. But I mean, they got to know Billy Redden's not going to be a crowd drawer.
Yeah,
they just stuck him over in the corner somewhere beside the beer stand or the popcorn stand.
Yeah, it was like buy like get a Billy Redden autograph and grab some popcorn on the way out kind of thing. He was really in an odd spot. It was even worse than where they put Patty Mullen the last time.
Yeah,
they mixed him in with two vendors. Like he was literally sandwiched between two vendors.
Yeah,
it wasn't even other autograph people.
I hate to say it, but the movie is so old that I think a lot of folks that go to these might not have any freaking idea what the hell the movie was.
Yeah,
he was very much in character. I hope he was in character, not just being himself, because he was definitely being a strange bird over there. Just walking by would give you the willies. Yeah,
I was a little nervous. I kept joking, but it was like half serious that I was a little nervous to go pass him a third time, without stopping.
Again,
so we went around the long way.
Not a problem if people know who the heck you are, but I think it was to the point that he was in such a weird place. Yeah. People didn't know who he was. The movie's old. He was being strange. So people were just walking right by. I think we're the only people who had any clue who the hell he was.
Yeah, they probably thought he was a weird vendor selling like banjos or something. I don't know. But Tim, this next one, we failed our audience.
We did. We failed you guys big time. Tim Blaney, who was the voice of Johnny Five in Short Circuit, who we quote incessantly, as you know, on the show. We didn't get to stop by and meet him. I don't even
Yeah.
remember where he was. I don't know.
He was. It was funny. You know why you don't remember? Because you were getting ripped off because he was right next to Tim Jacoby.
Oh,
Exactly. Yes.
That's
So
what
I
it
think
was.
that's why it's like you had such like scars from that little section
so
of
just
guests.
He wasn't
From
being,
my-
he was being shaken down. It's not the same thing.
Shake it
That's
down.
true.
Yeah.
Yes, he
It was
was.
right
He was.
across from the bathrooms too. Literally.
There, in fact,
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw this on the bill of the hotel room. I don't even know it, but there was like a Tim Jacobus tax that the showboat added on just on your room, Tim.
I
So,
know. Oh,
but the next one is a true highlight.
we got to talk about Brian Bremer.
Yeah. So Brian Bremer is someone that like I'll be honest. We wanted to meet him because we were fans of Pumpkinhead and Society.
But was not on our radar at all.
We're not on our radar of like we have to see. But when we were at the bar on, I think it was the first night, correct? I think it was Friday night. When we
It
after
was
the
Friday
con,
night because Saturday night was karaoke and he
right, yeah. So we were hanging out at the bar, and Abby came over and she was, she knows everybody. And she goes, "Have you met Brian Bremer yet?" And we're like, "No, we didn't get to yet. We only saw a couple of people on that first night." She's like, "You have to meet him, and I'll introduce you. He's like the nicest guy ever." Da, da, da. So she, true to her word, brought him over, and we hit it off instantly with him. It's like we knew him he's one of the most friendliest people you will ever meet.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to talk about, he'll just talk to you about everything. Like, it's like, him as a person. Like
We actually discussed our logo actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
He liked our old logo.
Yeah, he did. I mean, people
like
like it. It's just, yeah. And yeah, so we kind of like knew him that first night. So we would talk to him again all the other nights and through the con, we'd always go by and he'd be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Basically. So we have his email and everything, and hopefully we'll get to talk to him in the future.
Yeah, he even randomly came up during karaoke.
And
like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey Tim, I'm really looking forward to being on the podcast." So,
yeah.
So yeah, he's a super, super nice guy.
Yeah, so definitely one of the biggest highlights of the show. I think that was like, there's always, I think, a couple of ones that you don't expect, and that this was definitely, I think, that in that category.
Yeah, and we're gonna have him on the show for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him on.
John Russo, I've got to let Ken tell that story. As you know, John Russo comes standard with all New Jersey horror cons. He's like, I think they pull him out from a cabinet underneath the showboat or something.
Yeah, I think he does. Although he does travel because with the car, so he did drive there.
Again, yes, not my story. That one was Steve's story, actually.
I can't take credit for that one.
Oh, that's right.
That's Abby. It was Abby.
Yeah. So anyway, I couldn't remember. See, this is how old I am. I can't even remember things that happened a month ago or 2 months ago. I can't even remember what con
6 months ago.
Well, basically, it turned out somehow I got volunteered to help him to his car with all his merchandise from the show.
Yeah.
But it was fine. He was such a sweet guy. He's like, and he's like, "Oh, you don't have to help me." But this poor guy's like, what is he, like 80 something years old, and he's lugging these boxes, and I couldn't let him do that.
Yeah.
So we had a little trouble finding his car on which level, but in all honesty, the showboat, they all look the same. In all honesty,
I couldn't remember who was the one that actually helped him. I just knew it was not me. It was one of you guys.
Yeah, no, I was. Me,
right,
I have to help everybody. I can't like
right.
that. Yeah.
We took the most physically dexterous of us and sent him with John Russo, who could get hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. The one guy I could have literally fallen and trampled him, ending his con career forever. But you guys sent me unattended with him. Yeah.
We love John Russo. Though.
Yes, he is. What a super nice guy. Super dude. Yeah,
and next time we'll remember that and not send Brian with him.
Yeah.
The Grim Life Collective. These are about a couple of YouTubers, and I've watched a few of their videos. I mean, I like them. They have some cool stuff, and so I wanted to meet these guys, and they were super nice. But man, they were popular.
Yeah, they had that one super fan when we were trying to talk to him. That was like Biff blocking you the whole time.
Yeah, it was really crazy, like how like insanely popular they were. But they were. We talked to the guy more than we did.
She was busy with the other girl, but pulling her away.
They were super nice. They were cool. The next two, this was great because Tony and Gazandi, is it Gazandi?
I think Gazandi.
And Roseanne Sorrentino. So they were the two of the orphans in Annie, and so I had a good reason to meet them because
the movie version.
Movie version, yes. Thank you, Steve. my daughter had bought the first record she ever bought. Actually, was the Annie soundtrack, and she loves the Annie soundtrack for whatever reason and loves the movie. So I decided to get it signed, get the album signed by them, and they were really cool and very sweet and wanted to come on the podcast for some reason.
Yeah, well, Roseanne Sorrentino did. Well, do you remember they literally put them in their table was literally directly across from this human centipede model of all things.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really odd placement, I think, for them. But they were awesome, and they did karaoke too, which we'll get into a little bit, which was awesome because that was like they got to do karaoke of all things. That's two musical guests there, and they have to do it, so they did. But yeah, they're pretty awesome. They were really jovial. I did mention Don Budge to them, and they looked at me like I had three heads. But that was something that's more of a Cohn and I joke that we had to get
many
out there.
Annie puns going through the week leading up to the con.
Yes. So I had to, of course, say that. Next one is someone I wanted to meet the first time we were at the con. She was there, and we didn't. So I said I made it a point to meet this time, and that's Barbie Chula, who's actually, she's a model. I think she does something else, and she's also a like super cosplayer. I mean, she was I think my cousin actually, remember that the second day she was in that costume, that elaborate costume with that huge like weapon.
Yeah, that was
like
the
crossed
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill,
it was Pyramid Head. It was like a dominatrix pyramid head.
Yeah, and I mean when we got a picture with her, she was I think in a Catwoman outfit. But I was kind of like I've always kind of wanted to meet her, and she had her cute little dogs there and everything. She was so nice. Like
Very
we were
nice.
we were just saying how great her cosplay is, and she was so grateful, so humbled. So definitely someone who you should go meet all the time. The funny thing is, you may not even realize who it is because she was literally had about 4 different costumes, I think, over the weekend.
Yeah,
so
she was super cool.
Yes.
Angel Amoroso, I don't think we met her.
No, she was one of those. Those were the 2 wrestlers that were kind of in the middle of the show space.
Okay, and then
They were kind of by the the guy with the dog that was filming that short film, and he had the really cool dog.
Yeah,
that was where they were.
Okay, and Jason Knight,
that's the other wrestler. They were
that's
together.
The other wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I that's like the closest I got to anybody except for when I got myself a hug from the con mainstay Felissa Rose. But they were leaving the con on the final day we were there, and they were standing around trying to take a photo in front of the New Jersey Horror Con dimly lit background that Cohen made fun of days before. He was like, what a terrible place to put that. No light for a photo. And they're trying to take a photo, and they have like a championship wrestling belt under their arm. They had no way of doing this. So I just felt compelled to step up and say, hey, can I help you? I have no idea who they are. I don't watch wrestling. I must have missed something.
But
really
it was a struggle. They
were like, I think ECW and they weren't ever in I don't think they were in WWE. We need to ask Dom that one, Cone.
Yeah. Somebody knows this. I don't, but I just
Cody might know. She was a big wrestling fan.
They were trying to take a photo together, and it was not happening. So
yeah, and then Ken turned heel, took their belt, and clocked them over the head, and
then beat him with a folding chair.
Yeah, and then we were asked never to come to the show, but again, no.
Again.
Then Pancho Moller's another one. We just never seemed to get to his table around. He was in an odd spot, I think.
Yeah, no, we never got over to him. The one I was very much looking forward to was Michael Berryman, and he was super nice. He had a new book out that he was selling about his. I think it wasn't about him though. I think it was about his father.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't him. It was like a biography.
And I've always heard he's like a super nice, very soft spoken guy, and he really. Obviously lived up to that reputation. He was very nice, and he actually wanted to come on the podcast.
Yeah, we got to reach out to him. I got to
reach out and see because
his father has a tremendously interesting story. If you guys didn't know this, his father was a doctor at one of the sites of one of the nuclear explosions in Japan, one of the atomic bombs after they went off. So he was an American Army doctor on site there, which of course some people think may have contributed to Michael Berryman's condition.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very interesting story. Not because I talked to him. I let you guys handle that, but I wrote about it.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to him because we did. I think we tried to give him. I think he has our card, but I don't know if we. I forgot. I think I told him I would email him on through Instagram. So we need to I need to follow up on that. Like I said, we got back from the con and I went right into like pack mode. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff I need to catch up on with this stuff.
A monolith is a box of myth.
That's very sad. The monolith. I want to sell a shirt that says like monolith in the like 2014 to 2000, whatever the year. I got to look up the year when we moved in
but it will rise from the dead one day.
It will return. Just sadly in a box.
Xander Goldman, we didn't meet. I think he was in the Macabre Mountain.
Yeah.
Or something.
He was by Felissa. He was right next to her. So it's like he basically he was overshadowed by her crowd all the time. So
Father Evil, who had a particular affinity for Cone.
Yeah.
This year.
He wanted to convert Cone.
I was going to say.
All weekend long. It was a running joke. He kept giving him the eyeball.
He was. I mean, he latched on to Cone day one and didn't let up for the rest of the weekend. So.
And it was great. We saw for the first time, we saw a lot of like Father Evil in like street clothes. Like doing karaoke.
We had a new entry.
Yeah, the man can sing.
We had Cosplay Jesus right beside him.
Oh, that's right.
It was literally named Cosplay Jesus.
Yeah, we didn't put him on. I don't think he was announced, right? He wasn't on the list.
He wasn't on the list. He
also didn't do a rockin' business, I wouldn't say. It was noteworthy.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Father Evil, what did he sing, Steve? What did he sing karaoke? But he was good.
I feel like he went old school, like Sinatra or something.
Yeah, but he had a voice. It was crazy.
Yeah, he
really
had some
good.
pipes. Yeah. So Cone, at least if you get converted, at least you'll get a good song at the ceremony, you know.
Last but not least is Clint Howard, who was probably my most anticipated to meet, especially after having read The Boys, which was his biography with Ron Howard. And he, number one, I liked him already because he loved my shirt, which was my Halloween 2 shirt that I got out of Loot Crate. He loved that. And then I was telling him, I think he was really surprised that I had read the book because he was really excited that I had read it. And we were talking about it. He was talking about how they had designed it, with him and Ron going back and forth, talking about the same memories from different perspectives and stuff. And really cool guy. I really, really liked meeting Clint Howard. He was an awesome dude.
Yeah, he was everything I would hope for and more. And it was like super friendly. And he was busy the whole time. So we went to him. He was like the first one we went to just because we wanted to make sure we were going to be able to not miss that. And yeah, and he pretty much never had a moment where there was no one at his table after that point when we caught him.
He's coming back for the fall show. So
he had so much fun.
Yeah. I think he had a really good time. So that was definitely certainly one of the highlights from the celebrity side for me, was meeting him.
So, and he karaoke'd with his wife too.
Yes, they did a duet, which I caught. I took a video of that. I should post that. Yeah. That was like the coolest thing. That was just like so sweet and like endearing.
Heartwarming. Yeah,
it was. I got you, babe.
I mean, literally, I got you, babe, and to show that they they're getting up there in age, and they just you could tell they were like still in love with each other, and like we're so willing to.
We got to talk about how Clint Howard stole Ken's seat.
That's right, he did. We kind of gave it up, but what are you saying? No to Clint Howard? I mean, sorry,
that's the real
Ken,
story is you sold me out for Clint Howard. That's the real story, Tim.
Yeah. So basically, Ken got up to go get us. I think he went up to get.
I know it was bad enough. He went to get us drinks, and we sold him out.
Not just get drinks, but buy a round.
Yeah. He went to go buy a. Ken goes to buy a round, and Clint Howard comes up and was looking for seats, and we're like, "Here, take Ken, please, sir, please."
Yeah, Ken will always be our friend, but you're a new friend. Come on over here.
It was funny though when Ken came back, he sees this guy in his seat and didn't recognize him at first, I don't think, and then he noticed who it was.
Yeah, I was about to start some shit. I mean, not really, but I was like, "Hey, what's going on here, buddy? This was my seat." And then somebody said Clint Howard. I said, "Oh yes, right." And he didn't look any different. I just wasn't paying attention. Felt like a real ass. So I let that one ride.
And you're trying not to spill 4 drinks you're carrying too.
Yeah. Also true.
At least you came back and wasn't like Cone who got stuck up there for an hour. Remember that?
Yeah, he was there for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Cherries.
Yeah, they ran out. Yeah, they was ran. But what were some of the Cone songs though? Speaking of music, what were some of the Cone songs I was doing? There was one I did the whole time, pretty much. I can't remember.
I know I came up with the West Side Story one there.
Yeah.
When you're a cone all the way.
Yeah. And now it's like not even the same. Like now we've gone into, as Tim puts it, Cone Yacht Rock has been the latest round of cones. But there was one I kept singing in the room like the whole time, and I think I was driving Cone crazy.
I don't remember what that
I
was.
blocked it on purpose.
And Steve probably does know what it is, but he's not daring to tell us.
Yeah, it'll come to me. I'll remember.
I'll wake up saying, no, not again.
Well, I know there was one Annie song that I kept singing with your name in it, but because the Annie girls were there.
Yeah, probably
But,
hard not cone.
Yeah.
Or you're never fully dressed without a cone. I'm sure you put my name in everything.
Yeah, well, that was definitely one. You're never fully dressed without a cone. But no, but there was like one like special. It was like a segment of a song I kept saying, which was like
it comes out tomorrow.
No,
The code will come out tomorrow. Yeah.
It'll hit me, I'm sure, because it'll probably come again. But one of the things we'll change topics here briefly here. So one of the things, of course, that we want to do is we love to, all four of us were here. We figured, you know what, let's go get some cool food and drinks, of course. Of course, we had our standard, the Civil Gore, which is whiskey sour with 3 cherries. Now, for those, I don't know if we mentioned it on the show ever, but there's a variation now called the Civil Gore Tim, which is a half whiskey, half amaretto sour with 3 cherries. And that's what I just actually finished. So that's the variation of that.
And that is now my preferred.
I know, kind of me too. I mean, if I'm not going to have whiskey straight, and it's going to be in sour form, I think I have to do the mix because there's something about that. I think as Tim put it, the amaretto and the cherries and the sour mix.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Really. Yeah. One place. So the first night we were hungry and we wanted to, and the weather definitely held out for us. It was nicer weather. I mean, I think it was a little misty one of the nights, I think at most, but we wanted to go to, wanted to find something interesting to eat, and Showboat's food options are not really the greatest. We knew White House Subs was going to be night 2. That's tradition,
and sobering food.
Yeah, it's in sobering food. But this time Lionel Richie survived as he was a no-show. So we decided to eat at, we kind of walked the boardwalk to see. So we went down there, and we're going to go to actually Hell's Kitchen. So we realized like that, there was only a handful of options. It was an hour and 15-minute wait, and it was going to be like extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And we're like,
our wallets.
Yeah. I mean, it was night 1 of the con. We didn't know what we were going to see the next couple of days, what we were going to need our money for. And so, but Gordon Ramsay also had a pub in there, which is interesting because it was a British pub in Caesars. So they didn't exactly complete the theming. So you're like a British pub in the middle of Roman columns. Essentially, which is a very weird aesthetic.
Odd. It was
columns and curtains.
The food was phenomenal, and the whiskey sours there
potent.
They were very potent, and they were made with egg whites.
Yeah,
proper way to make them. Yeah, so they did it. They did them right. So
those were on point. Those were absolutely incredible. And so we had a great thing there. I think is that where we got suckered into the dessert too. I
did the toffee. Of course, Gordon Ramsay got to get the toffee pudding.
Yeah. But that was pretty good. Then somehow Ken had room the next morning. We went to decided to go to It's Sugar for breakfast. And it was so funny. We literally were like not in the mood for any of these like super sweet pancakes there. But Ken, I don't even remember what you got. It was like,
well, all right. Yeah.
I think it was like everything on the menu into one plate.
It was like one pig baked into a pancake.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for stupid food challenges, and I've always been. I sit there and I go, I don't need this. I don't want this. It doesn't even sound good, but this seems like something I should do.
Yeah.
Just to see if I can. And this was a thing where they baked all the savory things into a pancake and then topped it with cheese.
Yeah.
Like nacho cheese, not like a slice of, and then syrup on top of that. So it's utterly disgusting and gross, but it contains bacon, it contains potatoes, it contains sausage, all this crammed into a pancake. So it's kind of like a deconstructed McGriddle or something. I don't know. It was ridiculous.
They were so fluffy. It was like 6 inches of pancake. No. I mean,
they were as tall as my freaking head. I think if I put my head down on the plate in front of it, it would have been taller than my very tall head.
I was across from Ken. It was hard to see him.
Yeah, I was starting to get the meat sweats from pancakes. I've never had that before.
And then here I am with my veggie omelet.
Yeah, Tim's like with a veggie omelet with his pinky up, eating it like with like a little
I want to
fork.
lose
and-
3 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm watching Kid over there eat this like half a slab of pig baked into a pan.
Ken needed
I
a
don't think you
pitchfork,
finished
you know.
either. You were so close to finishing, but I don't think you were able to
Yeah,
finish.
no,
were you?
well, he realized, he didn't
Yeah.
want to vomit the rest
There
of
was
the
going to
day.
be a price that I was
Yeah.
not willing to
That
pay.
price was 10 minutes later back in the hotel.
Yeah,
It's true. We made it back just in
Yeah.
time. It was starting to gargle a little.
yeah.
Oh,
The next day breakfast, we went to a signature. We went to that
Serendipity.
that completely failed hotel that's still somehow in existence. What is it called now? The Ocean, I guess.
Yeah.
mhm,
Where Tim and I, of course, our first HorrorCon was when we had the legendary yogurt bowl
mhm.
with a lady that made it with love, and we had the gourmet breakfast the day before. So we went back to there for Serendipity, and that was a much more modest. I think I had the chicken and waffles, but everyone had the good thing. But it was a pretty solid breakfast there.
It was fine. Yeah, it was fine.
A little pricey.
Little pricey,
Yeah.
but
Solid.
as everything is there though.
Yeah,
So we got to talk about the and then we're kind of going out. We're jumping around.
yeah,
out of
yeah. We're
order.
jumping around.
Sunday buffet was really good. That was
Yeah.
that's like the huge buffet. I can't remember the name of the place.
The
But
Harvest Buffet, I think. It was.
Harvest Buffet is, they have a huge buffet and it's got like multiple buffet. And I'm not a buffet guy generally, but this one was really good. Like they had the seafood section and then the meat section and then the pizza section, the Italian section and the Asian section. I mean, they had pretty much everything. I think we like toured the world. We kind of would
Yeah.
go hit a place, come back, go hit another place, and come back. So that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was decent. It's $35,
Keep
but
the title going.
you will eat like about $100 worth of food easily.
I mean, I think it was for the selection you had. I mean, I think that was
Yeah,
pretty reasonable. So, Hard Rock Green. Oh, we got to talk about Hard Rock. So,
yeah, our
you know,
buddy, man.
It's been kind of a tradition to.
So, yeah, I got to tell you, I've been spending the last 45 minutes, however long we've been recording, trying to find the name of the band that goes with the story. But
I
yes,
forgot the name of the guy even. I don't,
yeah, I know. I forgot that too, but I had it. But we were sitting there at the Hard Rock, right? And
let me post a picture of him.
he sit
I
us down
thought
very
it-
close to where we sat the last time we were there. And out of nowhere, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I remember that waiter last time we were. That guy was a blast. And here he comes around the corner. It's the same freaking dude. And immediately opens his mouth and it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
I mean, he was
I
just-
got you. I got
It was
you.
like
That
pure
was
metal host. Yeah.
you know, friendly dude you'll ever meet that has worked in the same place for over a year now. You know, nobody feels that way about the place they worked that long later.
Yeah.
And we found out that he's an artist. He performs in a metal band whose name I cannot remember, and I could not freaking find it online. I was kind of generically Googling metal bands in Jersey, and Danzig is not it. That's
I want to say it said something with 9 in it for some reason.
was it nine bodies down, 9 men down, something like
Nine-
that?
It was
Something is
something
not-
like death, murder, kill, something. Yeah, something.
Yeah, I feel like I had 9 in it,
Went
but
from 9 to death, murder, kill.
but
Put them
yeah, he
together.
was-
9 lives.
But he was so cool. Like he took a selfie with us, and he, we told him that we.
Whose phone was that? I thought it was mine, but I don't see it.
I don't know. I don't think it was mine. I will have
Could
to
be
look.
mine.
Should be in our group thread somewhere. We do have it.
Yeah, we got it somewhere. But he was super cool. And
Yeah, I'm looking for it on the.
of course we had. To
Oh,
tell
here
him,
it is. I found it. It was on my phone. Did we? I just didn't post it for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, we got to figure out what his band is. I'm looking, trying to see on his shirt, but
And I
we
even
cut him
Googled
off.
it, like the day after, and I found it. They do perform, and there was some stories written on it, but I cannot for the life of me find this guy now, and it makes me feel terrible.
no,
It
it's-
reminds me-
We'll find it.
The dude reminds me of a very energetic version of Jamie Kennedy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Easygoing, folksy kind of guy, very down to earth, and just super happy to help you out.
yeah, no, and we just what did we get there? We just got a round of drinks and nachos
Yeah,
or something, right? Or
Yeah, I
something.
think.
Yeah,
I don't think
just
we
wanted to
had
take the edge off.
Fortunately, we didn't have the terrible singer this time.
Yeah,
that we had
no,
last
just
year.
me. Let's come with it.
See, we did hit White House subs. Of course,
Yeah.
I wasn't drunk off my ass talking to Lionel Richie posters this time. We actually pretty. I thought
The
we
poster was taken down. That's why.
Yeah, there was no Lionel. He wasn't performing.
After Tim
but-
defiled it last time.
Yeah, and Tim wasn't as drunk either. So
No. I thought we did we were pretty responsible this trip. All in all.
Yeah, I
And
mean, we drank more. I think overall, it seems like
Yeah,
overall
but I
we
was
drank.
never like hammered at any point in the entire trip. I don't believe.
Well, we
so.
did have a sampling of beers and noshed some bagels to pair with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cone
Yeah.
brought bagels and cream cheese, and
Yeah, we had bagels and beers. So
there's something with the bagels I kept laughing at too, and I can't remember what it was, but I don't know. See, that's hard. We needed to really do this week. Last time you guys took notes. You didn't do that this time, so that was part of the.
yeah. We probably well, in my mind we were going to do this like immediately once we got back, and it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about some of the cool vendors. We had one lady there that was selling some really very reasonably priced horror shirts and hoodies.
I think they were all like the hoodies were like 20 and like the shirts were $5, right?
Yeah, the shirts for $5. She had like a whole box of shirts for $5 and hoodies for 20. And I ended up getting both kids, Joshua and Anna, a horror hoodie, which they love. They still wear them. I mean, they've been wearing them every week. So that was a great deal, and they've held up really well. I can't remember I don't know. We probably have her business card somewhere, but she was really cool.
I meant to have that, and I realized I accidentally packed it, so it's somewhere in storage.
Yeah, one of the horror shirts I was gonna say we got was Curious George meeting Pennywise. So Curious George looking into the sewer.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had got the Laurie Strode one, and I think a Friday the 13th themed one, like with the Easter Bunny or something. It's good, neat little shirts.
I went back and got more coasters from I can't remember the guy's name.
The Bowman Butcher, right?
Bowman Butcher, yeah. Just thank you. Who I'd gotten the Universal Horror Monsters set of the really nice slate coasters, and I don't know what I guess he uses some kind of laser etching to put the portrait in, but they're durable. Like the image doesn't scratch off or wear off or anything. So it's like a slate coaster with all the rough edges and everything, which I like that look. And then you got this horror image on it that doesn't wear off or scratch off. And I loved the Universal Monster set that I bought last year. And this year he had a modern slasher set that had Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. And so I bought that set of coasters. So shout out to them. And he's super cool. He remembered me from last year.
Yeah.
So he was a super cool guy, and I think he and his daughter work together and make these things. So
and he always offers the bloody variant too. Like he's got the original Slade, and then some of them, if you want blood on them.
Yeah, blood splatter ones. They're really well done. He makes a lot of other cool stuff too, but I just love the coasters. They go well up in the. I've got them up where we watch movies and stuff, and I use them constantly. So that was a great purchase. I'm glad I got now I got more modern monsters.
And I need to post that video I did where I toured through the I still need to post all that stuff. I just never had a chance.
Yeah, Bowman Butcher I think is on Etsy too. So if you want to go, you can get his stuff online if you want to search it out.
He does really good work. I'm always very impressed with people like that who truly actually do remember somebody. I wish I was better with that. I remember people's faces, but I often forget the name immediately, and then later I'm like, I don't know where I met this person. I've just met them somewhere. But this dude, no kidding, Tim's not exaggerating. When we walked up, was like, the podcast. He wasn't quite sure which one, but he knew immediately who you two were. And
don't worry, Miko Hughes remembers you, Ken.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the map vendor also remembered, Tim because he was as the apologist for.
Yeah, we were there for a while.
Rob Zombie, yeah.
The map guy this is the guy that we talked about last year that made all the cool maps of he'll make a map of the Crystal Lake with where all the cabins are located, where all the kills were, and these just different maps from different horror movie franchises. He's we talked with him for a long time.
Yeah, and he's got an Etsy shop too. He says I think it's Cine Tredicart or Tradici Cine Tradici Art. It's hard to say, but yeah, and he has all the maps of the different like movies and like in towns of the thing. And there was like the Elm Street one, and he's like does like painstaking research to make sure he's right, because there was one where, remember, he said it took him like months to kind of get everything right, because it was something that really had no kind of resource.
He's got
he had done one for Scream, he had done one for Elm Street, one for Friday the 13th, as you said.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And then the Buffalo Bill House guy, which we want to get on the podcast at some point, he was back. He's a really cool guy. He owns the house that they filmed the Buffalo Bill sequences in Silence of the Lambs, and he's fixed it up and made it into a tourist thing, and you can actually stay there overnight. And he's got it all done up inside with all kinds of, Silence of the Lambs themed stuff. So,
Yeah, because he's like a set designer too. Maybe because he works on Joe Bob's show. He was telling us.
Yeah. So he was a really nice guy, and I'm hoping we can get him on the show at some point because I'd love to hear how that all came about.
Yeah, and he sells us like lotion, and he sells little stuffed dogs and everything.
Yeah, I'll give him credit for like all the like little products and stuff.
Yeah,
he comes up with to tie in to the movie is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of great cosplay there.
Oh yeah, this was cosplay. Some of the I felt like there wasn't as much cosplay at this one, but everyone was like phenomenal.
Very high quality. Yeah, we saw Minnie Pennywise again, and Georgie, who we'd saw last year, which that kid's awesome. Pictures. Some of these you guys have probably seen most of these pictures. We had a father and son Michael Myers. We had a great Harry Warden from My Bloody Valentine. He was really good.
Yeah, and he's like super into it. So he'll give you like a little little Valentine.
Yeah,
that's sealed, and he writes little notes in it and everything. Because I opened mine when I got back. It was kind of neat. He's really like takes it. It's called Upstate Harry is his moniker on social media.
We had a Megan, who I was surprised we didn't see more Megans, honestly. The Black Phone guy was really good.
Yeah.
He looked straight out of the movie. And then, of course, we had Cone's nipple guy, which I'm going to take full responsibility for basically peer pressuring Cone into touching the man's nipple.
And he liked it.
That's
Yeah, we do have to clarify. It was a prosthetic torso,
Yeah, yes,
it wasn't just a guy.
I wasn't sure, so I was not going to take that bullet.
But I do feel bad. I was being very intimidating to make Cone touch the nipple. I was very
succumb to peer pressure very easily.
Yeah, nothing squirted out on you though, right, Cone?
No,
not that time.
The overall reaction that people had to that dude was there was only one of two ways, right? It was either "Holy shit, get away from me," pardon my French, or it was like, "Oh, look at this guy, check this out." But there was nothing in between. People,
and that
Stinky Pete
guy
person that people want to run away.
Yeah, because he walks around with like a poo diaper,
and like fake poop running down his legs, and he's in like a hospital gown. So he's basically.
Did you see him later in Karaoke when he's in like his regular clothes? He still kind of looked like he would be a Stinky Pete. But,
can't flush that from your mind.
Yeah. Did we mention the Halloween 3 guy?
No, that was the last one. The Halloween 3 was my favorite. Somebody had dressed up as the actual TV set from Halloween 3, the Silver Shamrock commercial and everything. It
had a screen in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
TV, yeah.
It was impressive.
It had like so much little detail and Easter eggs throughout.
Like there was stuff
costume.
Sitting on top of the TV, like drink cups and stuff.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, I don't know. We never found out. I don't think who won that. If anyone was there and remembers, we couldn't stick around for the.
We couldn't hear it. This is
that's right. We couldn't hear it.
We should mention
that was the one negative is that they literally had those panels on one end of this big vacuous room. That was already had sound in it, so it I don't know why they did it that way.
Industrial ceilings, everything just echoed.
Yeah, we couldn't hear a thing.
Unless you were right next to the stage. I bet
all the panels were a complete waste when it comes to that. They had very few seats compared to the past, and
all the space they had so much space, but they probably realized no one's going to hear it. So
standing room would have been plenty. I mean, we tried standing for a couple of them to listen, and we even close couldn't hear a thing. It was just too much.
Yeah, we tried for the Child's Play panel. We honestly didn't hit any of the screenings or panels outside of that in the costume contest.
It's a hard con to get everything in. There's just no way you can do it all. I don't think there's anyone that could actually, because the movies run throughout the whole day. Same with the panels, so you can't see everything because things are going on simultaneously.
The point is the Showboat needs to fix that crap because it was all useless. The panels in the movies were useless because you couldn't hear a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first year where they had it was fine. You could hear.
Right.
the first couple times. Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
they've got to change it next year.
And there was
Yeah.
nothing going on up there. They should have just left that up there because people who go to those panels don't mind stepping away from the vendors.
well, no, that day, remember they had that
They had the boxing,
or UFC thing.
UFC, yeah.
Was in there. That they actually set the ring up in that room. That was no
Right.
longer an option. So that's what happened. But
Octagon, if you will, yes.
I guess we should mention Karaoke Night because we already mentioned Clinton Wife's duet and Father Evil, and we had. I mean, it was just a cavalcade of mix of guests and really, really drunk non-celebrities.
yeah, but I have to say that is one of my favorite like things about the con because it's so fun because we just we kind of got the same area we did last time. We just like grabbed a couple of chairs.
The
one
talent
point was
literally sits
occupied
down
by
right
Clint
next to
Howard.
you also, yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
and yeah, it's a good place to interact, and it's like people just have fun, and you just drink, and it goes on for till 1 a.m. It's great, and it's just like, you get to hang out with it, and it's a unique thing to this con, and it really I think endears. That's why it's like I'm wondering how the next one is going to be, which is Cone. It's at that place we went to that mini con where we met Laura Marie Taylor. That's where the summer version is. And I'm just like, I think that'll miss something when you're not in the same hotel as the actual event. Kind of takes away from it for me.
Yeah, I think part of the fun is, like
If
you
it's
said,
not all in weekend, yeah.
what would my relationship with Miko Hughes be without us being in the same hotel?
Exactly. What are you going to cut him off in the parking lot? It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's just definitely not the same. Yeah, they but yeah, and then, like the Annie girls, of course, did their songs. I felt bad because Roseanne Sorrentino had said she thought she did so bad because she couldn't hear out of the mic. We're like, no, we're like, you were good. We heard it fine.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
But I'm wondering. Oh, the guy from the Sandlot, which we never even put on here because I think it was a last minute ad. He sang something, I think.
Yeah,
But
it's always entertaining because you get to see celebrities singing, you get to see them in the crowd watching.
Yeah, they're interacting with everybody. It's just one big old, sit in, hang out.
yeah.
The celebrity MCs both times were very strong.
Yeah.
This time Felicity Rose, last time
Banco.
Right. Yeah. How can I forget?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, very good.
Ken gets boob hugs from Banco.
That was completely accidental.
Ken, it's so funny. Ken has like always this one interaction with a celebrity that could get us banned forever. But it's kind of. But I think we need to save the one I put in all capitals and explanations. That's got to be the last thing because
that's the last thing.
That was a funny highlight. But we did. Well, first touch on I guess the mini golf. We did have the Civil Gore mini golf tournament, which Tim came victorious. It was kind of funny at one point. Like Tim and I were way ahead of everybody, and then Tim and I hit this one hole where everyone kind of caught up. But I will give it it was this like weird do-it-yourself bootleg mini golf course, and only the Showboat could probably have.
Yeah.
It's probably the only one in service anywhere is the Showboat.
There was nobody maintaining it. We literally there was a machine to buy your putter. You take the ball out and you just go.
Yeah, and that's it.
Groundbreaking, COVID friendly, yes, but it looked like somebody built it in their freaking garage. I mean,
it is. It was the most random holes I've ever seen. Like there was there was ones that didn't even make sense. Like it was like there's one that was like there's no way on earth you could get hole in one because it was like literally it was like you could hit it so hard and it'll like bang and come back to you no matter what. It was a random thing. But I will give just the final scores of this. It was Tim won with 50. I came in second with 52. Ken was in third at 53, and Cone was 54. So we all it came close at the end. But
it was a good match. I mean,
Tim had a few hole in ones, I think.
It was 3 holes, and those were our scores. Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah. But the last one we all gave each other hole in ones because we couldn't figure out how that hole ended. But it was interesting. Tim, you got 2 other hole in ones. I'm looking at the score sheet that I kept.
I got 3. I don't really count the last one because that was kind of an automatic. But I got 2 hole in ones.
You got 2 other ones, that were good. And then that was also you got to picture this too. It's like in the weird abandoned section of the hotel on the way to the other tower that where they have residents at. But there was also this row of weird vending machines that were all empty. It was like a ramen vending machine, cotton candy vending machine,
and a pizza one,
and a pizza one,
and a pizza one, all of them not working, but for some reason was a highlight of them that they keep showing on their Instagram. But I don't know. And there was that weird little gift shop in there. It was a very odd section of the showboat.
Everything about the showboat is like you're walking through 20 different places that somehow got mashed together in one.
It's all in flux.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
so-
I think in 3 years when they finally do finish every renovation, they have that water park. It's probably going to be pretty incredible. I think over a thing. 'Cause they have a lot to do.
They literally put axe throwing in the middle of the arcade,
Yeah.
and there's a tower to nowhere that you can climb, but there's nobody monitoring it, so you can't climb.
Same with the
Yeah.
axe throwing. It never actually happens. It's there, but you can't really do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they took that ring away. That's where they put that rock climbing wall that was broken. Then there was that other weird like 3D game, that 3D shooting game. You go into the room that like by Triotech and
Oh yeah.
and it was a little bowling alley, which we should have done. We should have bowled that little mini bowling alley.
Those
That's
are
the only
fun.
thing that stayed constant. That was there last time too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done those before. Those are fun.
Those are fun.
But
Yeah, we played lots of arcade games. Tim and I played that really fun. What was that one game we were playing where we got really far in it? It was like some pirate game.
we played some pirate ship game where you're shooting like these. You start off shooting like these undead pirates. Then like we got on a river raft and we're shooting crabs and stuff. I don't know. It was weird, but it was fun.
It was so it was one of those ones where you get in there and it's like I have to say the arcade, like if they start maintaining their games, it's actually a pretty fun arcade. We all got like huge like I think I got like $50 card and I think Tim dipped into and got some more, which we'll get to now. This I don't know who wants to tell this story, but I don't know you and Ken are you three are experts at this kind of game. I've never played this before, and you guys suckered me into this thing because you knew exactly how to get to me. That there was a thing you needed to get, and
well, I was first introduced to the Wizard of Oz version. So if you guys are not familiar, there is a Wizard of Oz coin pusher that became really popular in arcades. And you know how coin pushers work is you put a quarter in and you're trying to time it so that your coin falls flat so that it pushes other coins and then those coins push other coins out. But the trick with these new, more modern versions is they drop these cards and the cards are redeemable for tickets. And they're based on different movie IPs. And the Wizard of Oz one, you have all these, if you collect like the Good Witch and the Wicked Witch of the West and Dorothy and Tin Man and Scarecrow and Lion, if you collect all the cards, you get like a huge bonus amount of tickets, like 5,000 tickets or something. So they had the Willy Wonka version here, which I'm a sucker for all things Willy Wonka IP related. Yeah. And you had to collect all the Willy Wonka characters. So Veruca Salt and Mike TV and Charlie and Willy Wonka. And
who was the annoying one that we couldn't get? Was Grandpa Joe?
It was Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe. But one card is always the rare one. And in the Willy Wonka one, obviously the rare card is the golden ticket, and it only comes out. And these things drop randomly into the machines. So anyway, long story short, these things are like incredibly addictive, and I'm a sucker for them. Like when we have an arcade here in town called Jungle Rapids, and they have the Wizard of Oz and they have the Blackbeard one. And when the rare occasions we take the kids, like I buy them their arcade card, and then I buy my own $20 card, and I sit there the whole time they're in there and play just that coin pusher. That's all I do. So I'm just completely addicted to those. But anyway, somehow we all got roped into this thing. Steve, you had left by then, right?
Correct. This was Sunday after I left.
This was after the buffet.
So me and Ken got hooked on this thing, and then we pulled Brian into our madness, and Brian started getting hooked on it. And we got obsessed with getting this whole set of cards because we were getting pretty darn close. I mean, we were finding good batches of cards because you got to search these machines out and find where the cards are that are kind of close to coming off the edge. And so we had gotten everything but the golden ticket.
Yeah. Well, isn't the golden ticket like a weird thing to get it? Like it's not, it doesn't just come out. No. You have to do something to get it, right?
To earn it. Yeah.
The way it works is there was an already random function where every once in a while you get a quote unquote digital spin of a wheel.
That's right.
It gives you credit for a couple tickets. It gives you a couple of extra coins to shoot. Or if you're really, really lucky, like 1 in 20, it craps out a golden ticket. We never saw that actually happen once.
Right.
So, we just saw it. It was already out on that one.
I've kind of given up on that thought because when I first started, what really got us suckered is I sat down at one of these. We'd looked a couple of hours before, and they looked all very empty and like you're never going to get anything out of this because they were just too fresh. And so we walked away. We came back hours later, and I sat down at one. I threw in about 3 coins, and suddenly I got like 5 cards all at once. Just got lucky, And he said, "Huh, we might be able to complete this set." So we tried for that one set, and in the progress finished a number of sets, but then realized you needed the golden ticket for it to count as complete. I said, "Well, never mind. That's impossible." But as Tim was finishing, quote unquote, finishing up his play, I walked around and I found not 1 but 2 golden tickets in other machines that weren't there hours before, and so we went after those. And sure enough, Tim was getting that golden ticket. I was filming it. I'm pretty sure. Like I had my phone up to it, filming you getting the golden ticket there.
Yeah. I have it on video also. That when that happened, yeah.
But it became an absolute obsession. Like we were not going to leave that arcade.
We were so close.
We were not going to leave. I think Ken, you went back for more.
I did
more money at some point just to.
But now that being said, so when we did this, when we turned it all in, I'm telling you, I did not lose money on those prizes. Which was
you got like 2 sets of whiskey cubes.
Yeah,
we had 2 sets of whiskey cubes, 2 very large Nerf guns.
Yeah,
a bunch of other stuff. Like it was not trivial. It was
like Ken got the prizes that you always like laugh at. Like who's gonna ever get enough tickets for those kind of thing. He got like multiple.
I will say though, their ticket counter was fairly reasonable compared to most ticket count. Like most ticket counters, 50 tickets. Okay, you get a Tootsie Roll Pop.
Right.
I spent $25 for this Tootsie Roll Pop. They were actually
it was fair. It was completely fair.
Somewhat fair.
They had a BMW motorcycle there for crying out loud for like 5 million tickets.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about Brian's epic picture he took of me.
Yes.
So when I got the full set, I held him up, and Brian took I don't know what magic was in his phone camera.
Well, I did use portrait mode for that. I'll say that.
He used portrait mode, but somehow this the best picture of me that's ever been taken of me holding these Willy Wonka cards, and I used it as my Zoom because I don't like showing a video on Zoom all the time at work. So I use it as my Zoom picture at work. I cannot tell you how many people have asked, have commented on this picture at work. Like they're like, "Oh my God, like why were you so happy? Like what are those cards in your hand?" They were like, "How are you so happy? Like what is going on? Like tell us about this picture." And I go the whole story of the Willy Wonka thing and the whole saga. And I've told the story so many times at work now because
what you have to explain to people about the picture is Tim fanned out all the cards in his hands. It's this giant fanned out set of cards. And he's got this cheesy smile.
Yeah, sheer joy though. Sheer joy.
Okay, so those pictures in the casino when you see people winning, and they have the giant checks. This was the best of those that made those pictures like nothing because most of those people never seem happy enough. Tim looked like he was holding a giant check that said $1 million.
Right, and the thumbs up, of course.
I honestly was that happy. That's because I'm not that. Picture is not in touch right. I was so excited that we've got because I've never completed a set in my life, and I'm a big fan of these coin pushers. I've played them for years. I've never gotten a full set. I was so happy. But that picture we've joked that it's going to be on the poster of we're going to be riding up in the elevator one day, and it's just going to be that picture on the stock photo for the Showboat Arcade.
Yeah, I am stunned. They haven't contacted me yet and said, "Could we take this picture, please?" We need to promote.
We also figured out the heist because Ken, why don't you talk about your family?
So there's a sad postscript to this story, Steve. You're onto this, right? There's a sad postscript to this story because we felt like winners. Tim and I walked out of there like Ocean's 11, like we cleaned out the Caesar's Palace or whatever, and we felt pretty good. Like I said, we got great prizes, walked away happy. No way that can go south. Well, I texted my wife about this, and she was like, "Oh, that's fantastic." Told her about a little experience. She puts up with my crap just like all the other wives here do with you guys. And I don't know, it was less than a week later, she took the kids somewhere when I wasn't around. And there's a Willy Wonka freaking coin pusher there. And I'll be damned if that thing wasn't set up differently. And she got, I don't remember. I still have the text somewhere, but she got 6 complete sets with golden tickets. She had no idea what she was doing. And the reason is, aside from the fact that she didn't know kind of what she was doing, but the golden tickets were dispensed differently. They weren't nearly as randomized. So they would come out with all the other tickets, which came out, every 5th or 6th coin you put in, you have a new ticket come out, or new card. And so the golden tickets were thrown in there with that. And they were coming out all the time. They were everywhere, she said. So Steve came up with a brilliant idea that we should go to this place, spend some money on these tickets, and then export them
Oh,
to New Jersey, take them to Atlantic City to the showboat, and trade them in for that BMW motorcycle that we have there.
yeah. That's like this is like Newman and Kramer's plan with the cans, like trying to bring to like on
What are
Seinfeld.
What are the laws about smuggling Willy Wonka tickets across state lines? Do we know?
Yeah, we'll get arrested. This is 5,000 golden tickets. What are you doing?
How would they know though?
They would never know.
They would never know.
I will
Unless
say,
there's like a little like chip hidden in each
there
card.
are barcodes on them.
Yeah. Well, you give them to a machine. You don't hand them to a person. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You have to feed them into a machine. It's quite possible they would go, not from here. But I don't know. Who knows?
Well,
We
yeah,
have
but
to
how
try
would
it.
they
Right.
like? How would they do that? Like that would be
Only one
very
way to
cost
find out.
prohibitive to the company. Yeah, let's find out. I would say.
I'm with Steve.
Now that we've shared our criminal enterprise with the entire world.
So next time, Tim, you will come up one day early. We'll go to this place,
Yeah.
get all the golden tickets.
Yeah, see now what's going to happen, is like they're going to like put like a warning label on, and like all of a sudden they're going to say like it's going to be like that McMillian show, like Tim's going to be featured. That's going to be the cover of like the thing on HBO Max where he's like this.
Oh my God.
Watch out! Three people. Oh no, wait, because 4 now, because Cone will be involved in it. 4 people have managed to beat the entire system.
We're
They're going to cut some casino footage of Brian falling in the arcade.
Right. You guys saw that movie Casino, right? Remember what happened to the guy that cheated? That took him out, beat him with a hammer or whatever, and it broke all his knuckles. That's what I'm thinking here.
What's funny is that when I tell people about the picture, like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, well, I was in Atlantic City, and they're like, oh my God, how much money did you win? Well, it wasn't money exactly.
Yes.
It was Willy Wonka cards.
None of us gambled at all, right? I mean, aside from the machine.
We never did.
We never
were
did.
gonna, and we just never did. That took all the time.
The Goonies slot still owes me $2. So.
Well, that our gambling night. One of it was probably going to be Sunday night. We decided, but we went back, and we got suckered into that because we still had so much I think so much points on our card that
I still do.
I'm not a real gambler.
We came out way better than we would have at an actual casino.
Yes, I agree. I'm like a coin pusher kind of gambler. Like these days, the minimum stakes are ridiculous. And when your minimum bet's $25, I'm out, man.
Yeah. Plus, I already won in my last trip to Vegas. Like I came out way ahead. I'm like that's got to hold me for at least a calendar year before I attempt to gamble again and expect to win. So I felt like I'm
$90 up on casinos. So I'm trying to keep that streak going.
I was just excited. I think I got you guys one card you couldn't get. I think it was the Grandpa Joe I was able to get for you or something.
Oh yeah, it was a team effort. It was a team effort for sure. Yeah.
But that was definitely a joy. But yeah, I know it seems weird to do a HorrorCon recap and end with a Willy Wonka tale, but I mean it is us after all. Yeah. And second of all, it really was like the perfect capper to that. The only thing missing was Cone. He wasn't there, but he was there in spirit.
Yeah.
You guys kept me up to date the whole time.
That is true. We were texting, and then we posted it in our group feed right away. Is that picture? I think Emily too was in. That was that feed we were doing, and she was like, she's probably like, what the heck are these guys doing?
She's the first one that got to see that picture. I think we sent it straight to her, didn't we?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
you got a big compliment on that one. I mean, she's always very nice to us anyway. Puts up with our crap, much like other.
Oh my God. I missed the gold of it. That's the picture I should have put on that Times Square billboard thing where you pay $40 for 15 seconds.
Yes.
I should put Tim up there with the card.
That would be pretty priceless.
Oh my God. I was toying with something else, but like now that should be it.
Save it for his next trip.
Yeah, like welcome to New York, Tim. And then he'll be like holding his cards up.
It's so stock photo. It's the most stock photo ever.
We should actually make a limited edition shirt of that picture on it.
Or just go to NFTs.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There we go. There you go.
Tim in different shirts and colors, and like we'll have that photo, but he'll be wearing like a hard hat, or something.
Oh, yeah.
Different kind
it's
of
the Red Tim Yacht Club.
Yes.
Instead of the Bored Ape.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a blast, and I think the takeaway from this and all our crazy stories is that that's what the con is. It's not really. It's the guest. In a sense, but it's more like what happened with the guest is what happened outside of the guest. It's what happened where we ate, what we did. You always come back with these stories, and it's just from hanging out in a place where.
And it's a great community. Just overall.
Let me say that I think the one that caught this, that captured this the best was Felissa Rose during the karaoke. So the karaoke, is always kind of a wrap up. I think it's the night before it's the last night, right, of the thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are leaving the next day, are already going to be gone. So it's sort of a final hurrah. And she said something, I couldn't do it justice, to the effect of, this horror community of ours is a community of love and tolerance, and inclusion. And it was, very sincere, very, very kind and loving. And, to see the people at these cons, you guys know this, very new to this stuff. It's genuine. What she said was very true. Everybody there is welcome. Nobody looks at anybody else and goes, what the hell is this person doing? Except maybe for the poop guy. But aside from him, everybody is loved and tolerated and feels included. And certainly she heads that effort of all the people, but everybody does. It's great.
Yeah, because I mean, you end up talking to just random people, and you like it, and you see them throughout the weekend, and it's just it really is something like unique. And I think that adds, because I used to go to cons all the time, like Conan. I used to go to Chiller all the time, and it wasn't like that, because even if you got a 3-day pass, it ended kind of like at the end of the day. That was it. At least from what I understood, and I know Monster Mania, they say, is like that, where it's all kind of like a whole, you're wrapped up in the weekend. But that, from what I understand, is just so crowded that if you're not, it almost becomes more of a stress. Then is what I like about New Jersey Horror Con is it's some of the people that criticize that, there's not no one shows up, but I kind of like that. It gives it more of a personal feel, but yeah, I mean, in the end, it was like, the best part was, we all four of us got to hang out, had some good food, good drinks, had some great times, lots of laughs, Cone bagels, I mean, how often do you get to spend a weekend and watch Cone pinch a nipple to, of some random bald
Play your
dude?
cards right. You can have it soon.
I mean, with the dawn of the internet and all, I think we could have this every day.
Probably, yes.
For the right price.
I will say the other great thing is again, it's not too big. Like we paced ourselves. Like we could dip in and out of the con floor and like go do our own thing. And we're not really, I mean, outside of the panels, we weren't really missing anything.
Yeah.
And all in all, it was affordable. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cheap. You're paying for a hotel room. Yes, you're paying for the tickets. And if you're buying stuff at the con, you're spending money. But at the end of the day, nothing felt like it was a particular ripoff or, wow, this is an overcharge. Yes, the restaurants are expensive in Atlantic City. I'll give you that. But aside from that, it didn't feel like it wasn't worth it. Let's put it that way. And it's not, it doesn't put a huge dent in your vacation budget relative to if you went to Vegas or something.
Yeah, and you can spend as much or as little at the con itself in terms of the vendors as you want. So if you want to go there and just have, the only thing you spend is food and hotel room, you could do that.
And Pickle Monster. I mean, that's
Pickle Monster.
Yeah.
That's all.
And if you want to even be on a tighter budget, just avoid Tim Jacobus's table, and
at least save you $20.
Yeah, at least you save. Yeah.
But so yeah,
no
I agree.
returns, no refunds.
I mean, for example, I mean, just a perfect example. Like I skipped going to Gen Con this year because that trip alone, by the time you do plane tickets, hotel, the con tickets,
Shipping,
food. I mean, you're looking at like well over $1,000. Probably closer to $1,300. To go to a place for a few days, which granted it's fun, have a good time, but you're basically going there to play board games that you're going to be able to play in a few months anyway for not $1,300. So I totally agree. This is just a much more affordable option. This is one I can go back to every year, no problem. I can fit it into the budget. But something like Gen Con or trips to Universal, that kind of stuff, those are a lot harder to justify annually when you're shelling out thousands of dollars.
So, Tim, I don't know exactly what we spent, but I think you Venmoed me approximately $300 after it was all over.
Yeah,
so we split a room, and we obviously probably spent some cash here and there. That's not included in that, but you can do the math on that one. That's got to be well less than $500 that we each spent on this.
Yeah, and the hotel rates are pretty good. I mean, they give a good con rate too, which helps.
So 3 days with your pals, $500. I mean, that's a bargain to me.
Oh yeah. So that was our con wrap up. Hope everyone enjoyed. Sorry we didn't have any more elevator tales other than Ken's Miko Hughes
I'm trying to do better
event
next year.
But
It's always
yeah,
next year.
yeah. Hopefully, this is something we can find a way to do yearly. If if Showboat continues to go have it there, because I really don't have interest in going to the other one, because I think as much as we brag on the Showboat, it adds like a certain charm to this con that.
It's
And
sort
they're
of the rundown
dog-friendly.
version of the Overlook, the poor man's version of the Overlook.
Yeah.
It does.
We've always been there. We'll always be there.
Yes, we always will. And like you'll see, like years later, there'll be like an old black and white photo, and like in the crowd, you'll see Tim holding up Willy Wonka cards.
Yeah, exactly.
And a whiskey sour in the other,
Yeah.
Yep.
or your half sour.
Well, that
Yeah.
bartender will be there forever, but
He will.
Well, thanks again, Ken and Steve, for coming on and
yes,
and recapping with us. And
Always a
Happy to do
pleasure.
so.
Always a pleasure.
I'm again sorry, guys, that we didn't get it done a little quicker in relation to when the con actually took place.
yeah,
But I'm glad we at least got to do the con wrap up and didn't just I think we did a fairly good job for how long ago and how bad my memory is.
yeah, same. But
But hopefully we did it justice, and we will be back on regular episodes.
yes, for a
Again.
couple weeks, and then we'll probably go into the Slaycation pretty soon. So.
Yeah, we're going to do a Slaycation early this year. We got a really cool themed summer Slaycation coming up.
Yeah, we'll start teasing that shortly. So
Yeah. So, and I think we got some more interviews lined up. Of course, we
Yep.
told you about some of the guests we're going to try to get on the show. So we got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe for the summer. So stay tuned with us, and we'll see you back here next week.
goodbye.